It always starts the same way. A leather jacket, a motorcycle engine, a guy who walks into the room and says nothing, but somehow owns every eye in the place. That guy was Arthur Fonzie. And in the golden age of television, no one, and I mean no one, was cooler than Fonzie. But what most people never knew is just how controlled, calculated, and fiercely protected that cool actually was. Because behind the shades and the swagger, Henry Winkler wasn't just playing a role. He was defending it. Every single day. This wasn't just about a sitcom character getting popular. This was about an actor taking ownership of a cultural phenomenon and saying, "I'll give you the Fonz, but only on my terms." So how did a background character become the centerpiece of Happy Days? What rules did Henry Winkler force into the script? And what was the one moment he almost lost control of it all? Let's dive in. By the early 1970s, America was in a weird place. Vietnam, Watergate, civil unrest, people were tired. And when people are tired, they turn to nostalgia. They remember the good old days. The 1950s with its jukeboxes, soda fountains, and the belief that life was simpler, even if it wasn't. That's when Gary Marshall, a television writer known for hits like The Odd Couple and Love American Style, came up with an idea. A show about a regular, working-class family in the Midwest, navigating teenage life, parenthood, and everything in between, all set against the backdrop of a post-war, booming America. The original pilot was called New Family in Town and aired in 1972 as part of Love American Style. Just a one-off. No one really noticed it, at first. But two things changed everything. First, the Broadway smash hit Grease lit up the stage. Audiences were obsessed with its 1950s vibe, leather jackets, doo-wop music, teenage rebellion, and high school drama. Then came American Graffiti, George Lucas's nostalgic ode to 1960s cruising culture, which also happened to star a young Ron Howard. Suddenly, networks realized the public didn't just like the past, they craved it. So in January 1974, ABC greenlit Happy Days, and just like that, Richie Cunningham's world came to life. But something unexpected happened just a few episodes in. Arthur Herbert Fonzie, the Fonz, wasn't even supposed to be important. He was written as a background character, just another James Dean knockoff, a cool guy with a motorcycle and a few one-liners. Casting directors were looking for someone tall, blonde, and conventionally good-looking. That's what they thought cool had to look like. Enter Henry Winkler. He was none of those things. Shorter, Jewish, dark hair, a trained stage actor who had studied at the Yale School of Drama, not your typical biker bad boy. But Winkler brought something no one else had: stillness. At his audition, he did something strange. Instead of dramatically combing his hair or flexing muscles, he simply reached up to fix his hair, then paused halfway, smirked, and dropped his hand. No comb needed, it was already perfect. That one motion told Gary Marshall everything. This guy didn't try to be cool, he just was. Despite initial concerns from ABC execs who didn't believe he looked the part, Marshall fought for Winkler. And once filming began, everyone knew this was lightning in a bottle. In the early episodes, Fonzie hung around the edges, leather jacket, sunglasses, a motorcycle parked outside Arnold's drive-in. But slowly, he started to take over. Audiences were obsessed. Ratings went up every time he appeared on screen. He became the show's breakout star, a strange twist considering Ron Howard was the supposed lead. But Fonzie had that special blend of contradictions: tough but kind, rebellious but respectful, street smart but full of heart. He was a high school dropout who became a moral compass for other characters, especially Richie. Winkler infused the role with subtle humor and improvisation. His iconic "AE" catchphrase? Totally unscripted. The thumbs up? Winkler made it up on the spot. Even Fonzie's signature look, the leather jacket, became a battle with the network. ABC execs originally wanted him in a windbreaker because they didn't want to promote gang culture. But Winkler and Marshall insisted, no leather, no Fonzie. Eventually, they compromised. Fonzie could wear his jacket only when he was near his motorcycle. Marshall literally wrote the bike into more scenes just so Winkler could wear the jacket. And once Fonzie became a household name, ABC gave up the fight. They weren't going to mess with the golden goose. By season 2, Fonzie wasn't just a supporting character, he was the show. He moved into the Cunningham household, his storylines deepened, and the merchandise explosion was unstoppable. Fonzie lunchboxes, Fonzie dolls, Halloween costumes, comic books, posters, pinball machines, even Fonzie shampoo. Yes, that was real. Kids idolized him, adults respected him, and Winkler became a cultural phenomenon. He was on magazine covers, talk shows, even parades. ABC saw Fonzie as a brand, a revenue stream. But Henry Winkler saw something different: responsibility. And that's when the real fight began. Winkler understood what made Fonzie work. It wasn't just the catchphrases. It wasn't the motorcycle. It was the balance, the dignity, the cool factor that never tried too hard. So he created rules. Fonzie would never look like a fool, never be the butt of the joke, never get scared, humiliated, or made weak, even in a comedic scene. Yes, he could be funny, but the joke could never be him. More importantly, Winkler refused to let Fonzie appear outside of Happy Days. No guest appearances on other sitcoms. No cheesy cameos. No product endorsements that made him look like a caricature. In an era where other TV stars were everywhere, game shows, variety hours, cereal boxes, Winkler said no. He wanted Fonzie to stay special, to stay cool. And it worked. Fonzie maintained his mystique and his popularity stayed strong, even as other characters came and went. But then came the moment that almost broke everything. Season 5, Episode 3. Fonzie, water skis, leather jacket, a literal shark. Yes, this was that episode, the one that created an entire pop culture phrase, jumping the shark. It means the exact moment a show starts to decline, trying to do too much to stay relevant. But here's the twist. Happy Days didn't decline. Ratings stayed strong. The show went on for 6 more seasons. So why did it happen? Well, it was Henry Winkler's fault. Kind of. His father had always told him to show off his water skiing skills. Winkler was really good, so they wrote it into the show. And yes, Winkler did most of the stunt himself. To this day, he jokes, "I'm proud of the stunt, but I wish I had jumped something else." Despite Fonzie's dominance, Happy Days was still very much an ensemble show. Ron Howard, already famous from The Andy Griffith Show, brought a natural warmth to Richie. Marion Ross and Tom Bosley gave the show its emotional center. And actors like Anson Williams, Potsy, and Don Most, Ralph Malph, filled out the comedy. The set was known for being collaborative. Gary Marshall encouraged improvisation and trusted his cast to shape their characters. It's part of the reason Fonzie grew, because Winkler brought more to the table than what was on the page. Of course, not every moment was smooth. Long shooting hours, creative disagreements, and the pressure of success wore people down. Ron Howard eventually left the show, but through it all, the chemistry between the cast held strong, on screen and off. Happy Days ran for 11 seasons and 255 episodes, a rare achievement in sitcom history. And that longevity? It was built on more than catchphrases. It was built on character and boundaries. For Henry Winkler, there was always one rule. Fonzie never leaves Happy Days. No game shows, no commercial spots, no variety shows in character, no cartoons, no live appearances, ever. There was only one exception: Sesame Street. When the producers asked him to appear as Fonzie to help kids learn the letter A, he couldn't say no. It was educational, it was wholesome, and most importantly, it meant something. To this day, it's the only time Fonzie appeared outside the show. And even then, Winkler insisted on filming the segment on the Happy Days set. That's how seriously he took the character. Fonzie wasn't just a cool guy in a leather jacket. He was a phenomenon, an icon, and a lesson in how sometimes the best thing you can do for your character is protect it. So now it's your turn. Do you think Henry Winkler was right to guard Fonzie so carefully, or should he have let the character roam freely into pop culture? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look behind the leather jacket, hit that like button, subscribe for more TV deep dives, and tap the bell so you don't miss a future upload. We'll see you next time, and remember, stay cool.